Deep drop, sets, pumps, and fires near side, complete, touchdown!
Max Hall is the winningest quarterback in BYU history. He seemed invincible, which is why his story is so important for all of us to hear. Addiction can destroy any of us. Now in recovery, Max is sharing his story, hoping to raise awareness of the problem and provide inspiration to others who are fighting the same battle.
Hall in trouble, being chased. Hall rolling left. Hall takes off inside the 5. Fumble the ball. It's picked up by the Cardinals, and it's a touchdown.
I remember I got hit on the goal line there and opening my eyes, and Larry's carrying me off the field. But I stayed in, finished the game, we won, and man, it was fun in front of a home crowd, being from Arizona, and to beat the Saints, who had just won the Super Bowl, was awesome. The mistake that I think I made is I continued to play the next few games, and the next week suffered another concussion versus Seattle, still kept playing. And looking back on it, that was a huge mistake. And you know, I'd just gotten the starting job and was playing and won my first game, so you know, I didn't want to come out. So then later in the year, I had the shoulder injury, and I think between the concussions and the shoulder injury, I was just not in a good place. Thinking the career could be over, and having access to pain medication, you know, that was a bad, slippery slope to start going down, which, you know, really, when I look back, it really kind of ended my NFL career. It's not an excuse, but I just wasn't in the right state of mind with the concussions, and then having an injury, you know, it was hard on me. And, you know, I dealt with, you know, the hurt and the pain with that in just the wrong way. I masked it with painkillers instead of, you know, getting some treatment and getting back on my feet.
So where did it go from there? Did the use intensify, or what happened?
Yeah, you know, it did. Opiates or pain medications are, you know, you have physical withdrawal from it. So after you've been doing it for a while, try to stop and you have withdrawal from it, it's like, now I just want to do whatever I can to get more. And it just becomes more, and then you're introduced to the wrong people and other substances. And man, yeah, that was a crazy couple years for me. I did get clean for a while and was able to come back to BYU and coach and do some good things there. And then I got to go play in the CFL. When I got back from the CFL, I had just a couple bad relapses, which ended me, you know, ended my mugshot on the front page of the newspaper.
We begin with the stunning news surrounding the winningest quarterback in the history of BYU football. Former Cougar Max Hall arrested for cocaine possession and shoplifting in Gilbert, Arizona.
What was that time like for you when that happened and you're finally in jail and you have to deal with this stuff?
Probably the worst day of my life. You know, I obviously didn't know what was going on, and I was out of it. And apparently I was in the store just opening stuff out of the packages. And, you know, I think it's a little misleading. People think I was trying to steal stuff away from the store, and I was just in there acting crazy. It kind of hit me when they put the cuffs on me and put me in the back of the police car and took me down to the station. And, you know, that was a tough pill to swallow. But looking back on it, it was a blessing. You know, I don't know if I'd have stopped if it wasn't for that. You know, my little secret being exposed, and me kind of realizing this is a huge problem and I need to get some help. So that's how I choose to look at it, and just kind of own it. Yeah, it was embarrassing, and yeah, people would judge me for it, but that's okay. And I want to use my story to maybe help others who are going through the same thing, or be able to come to camps like this and talk to kids and warn them about the dangers of you know, substance abuse.
What's been the key to success in your recovery?
I had to let go of some things. I had to come to terms that my football playing days were over, and that was really hard for me. I couldn't even watch a football game for a while. I couldn't watch an NFL game. It was just really hard for me. You know, I'd get upset. Being able to move on, just be okay with myself, accept that this had happened to me, and that, you know, not get depressed about it, and you know, get some counseling and work with my wife and do things that have just gotten me to where I'm at. So it wasn't an easy road. But, you know, following 12 steps and taking it one day at a time and reading material and talking to the right people and making sure it's something that I talk about and focus on every single day. And, you know, all of a sudden those days start adding up and you have more time. The thing about it is there's a big problem with addiction in Utah. I know there's a lot of drugs here. I know there's a lot of stuff going on here. And in the Mormon culture, it can be a hard thing to go through. But there's lots of people out there who understand. There's lots of people out there who get it or know somebody who's been through it. And the people that want to judge you, who cares? You know, stick to the people that love you and want you to get help. That's what saved me. It's amazing the support I had from a lot of people in Utah. No matter if you're cheering for BYU or Utah, I had a lot of support from a lot of people, which I'm really, I really appreciate. And that support helped save my life. It gave me motivation to go get help and to get better and to kind of get that stuff out of my life. So again, I own it. It'll always be a temptation for me. It's something I have to work at every single day to stay on top of it. But, I choose to use it in a good way.
First, I want to talk to you guys a little bit, tell you a little bit of my story.
How does coaching help you in that process?
Coaching has been a huge help, and that's because I love the game of football. And so that was a really hard time when I couldn't watch football games, and it just drove me crazy. But again, once I accepted that and realized, hey, I have all this knowledge, and I love the game so much that I could go coach. And I think I'm a pretty good coach. And coaching high school kids is so much fun. And it's been a blessing for me because it takes my mind off of all that's gone on, and I can get to focus on coaching ball. And at the same time, mentor these kids, playing in college and in the NFL, they'll actually listen to me. They think I know what I'm talking about. And then they know I've been through a lot. I don't shy away from my story. They all know. And I can make fun of myself sometimes and be myself around them, but at the end of the day, I think they understand and they know where I'm coming from, and it's from a real place. The dangers and the things that are out there, they'll listen to me, and they're a good group of kids. So I love it, and I wouldn't be doing anything else right now.
What message do you want people to know from your story? What do you want people to learn about what happened to you that can maybe help people be more aware of how big of a problem this is and how it can happen to anybody?
You hit it on the head. It can happen to anybody. Addiction doesn't care who you are or what you do. There's help available. And don't don't be embarrassed about it. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Just take that first step. And it's been amazing. People know my story, and so they'll come to me and say, hey, I have so-and-so going through this, or I've been going through this. And it's amazing because they feel comfortable talking to you. And so that would be my message. Get some help. It's okay. And don't be afraid of being judged, or don't be afraid of people finding out, whatever. Get some help. Let's get that stuff out of your life and make some changes and make you a better person. And it can be done. A lot of people think there's no hope. It can't be done. They've been to multiple rehabs. They can't get it out of their life. You got to work at it. And one day it'll click. When you make that decision that you want it to be out of your life and you're done, it'll happen.
Well, Max is now an assistant coach at American Leadership Academy in Queen Creek, Arizona, and also coaches with Quarterback Elite here in Utah, which is where he was this past month.
He's one of the lucky ones that it came to face with reality and possibly losing everything. And his family stuck with him, friends stuck with him. So it seems like he's back on the right track and got things together.
Yeah, in the BYU community, Brandon Doman, Chad Lewis, and many others reached out to him and helped him. And Utah fans and people associated with the University of Utah also reached out to him, and he mentioned how grateful he is for that. He said it saved his life. So he's grateful to all those people for their support.
Sometimes you realize that football is not the most important thing.